Good night, everyone. Welcome to another show with us with Track and Field Talk Net. I know you're used to seeing the beautiful face of Latoya, but tonight is something different. We're going to have a wonderful conversation with one of Jamaica throwing legends. And also with me tonight, I do have O'Shea Hudson
Oh,
as my co-host. Welcome, O'Shea. How you doing tonight?
good night to you, Xavier, and good night to the listeners. Good to be back another night. As of course, you say, talking track and field, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. So the pleasure is I'll give you the pleasure to introduce our guest tonight. I told them it's one of our showing greats, and you have the honor to introduce our guest tonight.
Yeah, so really and truly, the poster sort of gave away the name, but just to let persons know of this gentleman, I think somebody that has really held Jamaica in it at its highest esteem and have really done all that he could have done. I don't know what else he probably can tell us when he comes on. What else he could have done to ensure that Jamaica cemented its place in the history of being a strong field country in terms of international athletic representation. And we speak of no other than Jason Morgan. And just to let you give you a little background, this man has represented the country for almost 20 years. When I look at the stats and I'm like, wow, not many people last even five, and he has gone to almost all, at least all the international competitions, being the Olympics. He has been there. He has gone to three world championships. He has been to the Commonwealth. He has been to the Pan Am, the NACAC. Started all the way back in 2000, and he think he left the scene just about 2015. So we have somebody that will take us through many different spheres along the journey of what made him what he is and where he is now. And I speak of none other than Jason Dads Morgan. Welcome, sir.
Give thanks. May appreciate the intro. Good intro. I like it. Good night, listeners and watchers and everybody out there.
Night.
Yeah, man. So once again, Jason, as we says, thanks for being here. We know you're a very busy man. As we are speaking to you, you just told us off here that you're out of coaching and made yourself available. So we really appreciate you. But just to kickstart and just to kind of break the ice and help everybody to just understand the measure of who Jason is. First of all, that name, Dads. Just tell us where that came from. What's the genesis of it?
The name dads come from my friends and family from a young age. They realize, at age 9 or 10, I have certain leadership qualities in me. So they give me the name Young Dads. So the name Young come off as I get, a little bit older because there was like somebody who carried themselves with great leadership and someone with great responsibility as a young youth. You got to be a dads. That's what them used to say. So about 9 or 10 years old, the name dads has established itself.
Really? Because I don't know if Xavier know, but from my side of the world that I grew up, I usually hear the term dads. And as you said before, it speaks to somebody that is almost like you have utmost rating for the person. So like the more mature man them in the community,
Would be
you hear
dads.
them hail it and say, wow, go on dad. So I'm like, yeah, just hearing the name now. And when I saw it as a part of your the brand that you use, I'm saying, yeah, it's everything becomes full circle. Because you would have garner a lot of respect over the years, and people would have seen your work and your work. But just to let the listeners know, and we say good night to all the listeners, we see Sandy there. How did you get into the sport or get into sports overall? What inspired you? What caused you to lean towards track and field as a sport that eventually became your life?
That started out when I was at Waterford Basic School. I think it started when my mother used to try to run me down to beat me, and she realized that me have certain speed. So it started out as a sprinter, and I was a sprinter at basic school. I went to Waterford Primary School, and I was a sprinter there. I was actually one of the fastest 10-year-olds in Jamaica and under 10 team running for Waterford Primary. And I did that all the way up until sixth grade and even received a full scholarship as a sprinter, 100 and 200 meter sprinter, going to Calabar. At the time, Herb McKinley recruited me to go to Calabar. Me have to say the best school in Jamaica. No disrespect to another school, but I have to say that. But it became part of my life and legacy and an escape. I escaped from the community violence that was taking place in Waterford, where you have to either choose the street or you choose sports. And I'm from a Christian background where mother and father, we grew up in the church, me and my brothers, and I think it was a given and an escape to do sports or you go to schoolwork. I try to balance both until I realized I have a special talent when I was at Calabar.
Wonderful, because and that then begs the question, because you said something very significant, that you had to choose sports or to choose your social upbringing in terms of the environment from which you would have emerged, but you chose the former, and you would have gone to Calabar, and I think anybody who followed track and field and high school track and field at that time would have been following your career as a youngster, developing, coming to the ranks. But just tell us in a capsule, how did Calabar shape Jason that we now know? How did it contribute to your coming into your own, and building out your brand to becoming one of Jamaica's leading and premier shows, one of the best that the country has ever produced?
Every time I speak about Calabar, it's always an humble honor for me because I never passed my common entrance to go to Calabar. I actually was received a scholarship to run for Calabar High School, and as the years go by, I do different events. Because my first year compete at Champs, I went as a reserve, but I also did the high jump. And even leading up to Champs, if my friend was here, RIP to him, Jeremy and Macy used to tell him I beat him all year in high jump, leading up to Champs. And it's at Champs. I actually finished fourth place at Champs my first year competing at Champs in the high jump. And I went on years later, I've tried hurdles, I've done triple jump, but my final year sprinting at Calabar was 1999, and that year really gave me the definition to become myself of being, it doesn't matter how you started out, it's how you finish and how determined you are to make a team. And by any means necessary, I was on the sprint medley relay team 1999. And then the following year, 2000, is when I started throwing. And I was introduced to throwing by Maurice Smith. It was actually a force and a bribe why I became a thrower. So Maurice Smith is a Jamaican decathlete, and he was a great athlete in high school, competing in the discus shot put and other individual events and the decathlon. And him tell me, it's funny how I become a thrower, as I say, because he said, look, a lot of girls like strong man. So if you throw the shot put and discuss, a lot of girls will give you attention. And I was like, no, I can't become a thrower. And the year before, I was a sprinter and a gold medalist. Because 1990, I actually won a gold medal sprinting on the photo on the sprint relay medley team. So he forced me into throwing, and I was like, yo, I have no interest in this. And he was like, just give it a try. And my first year competing at Champs in the throwing was 2000. And I actually win a bronze medal. I wasn't in the ranking at all. I was new to it. I was only training for 3 months. and I didn't make the final in the shot put, but the following year I almost break the discus record for champs, and I won both shot put and discus the following year, my last year in class one in 2001. So the development of being a caliber and the growth and just the mindset of you can achieve whatever you put your mind and body to.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to hear you say that you competed in so many different events to include relay, triple jump, because when you said something about entering the scene, I'm not sure. We're getting a feedback. I'm not
We're
sure
getting a
if
feedback.
your
Yeah.
device is close to our corners.
Coming from, I'm hearing it also. Is it from my end?
We're trying to start it
We
out.
try to start it out from my side.
All right. So while we work on that, we're hearing you, but it's just that we're still getting that feedback. So we're trying to so to the audience. So there's an echo. So to the audience.
Baby, I'm in the back end. What's happening? Alright, I see that you put up.
All right, welcome back, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're trying to just minimize the feedback that we were having. Welcome, Latoya. I guess it missed you because it doesn't work without you. It doesn't work without your smile. It's coming like Bumblebee. You know the Bumblebee kind of Transformers. Anybody try to drive it, it react differently. So so it doesn't work without the person in the loop. So good evening, Latoya, and the persons in the chat are acting for you. So I guess they don't want not to see your face. So Let us see if we can go back in without the feedback. Are you hearing us, Latoya?
I'm hearing you clearly. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry, guys, that I was not in there, but I'm sure our lovely two family, our lovely two hosts are very capable of doing so. We apologize for the inconvenience and the technical issues, and we are hoping that this has been resolved at this moment. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all, wherever it is that you are joining us from. Welcome once again. So let's
I
go at it again.
just change your name. So we're gonna bring back Dads on. Dads, let us see if we can get it better this time. Latoya, Dads, you should have met before. Um,
Definitely.
Greetings, Lataya.
Greetings to you, King.
so it sound a little bit better. We
Yeah,
know O'Shea
definitely.
starts, so thank you so much for your patience. Apologize again to the listening audience for the technical difficulties. So we can kickstart again.
As I said, I think everything is good to go now.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, sorry for the listeners, and we like the fact that you guys are tuned in so you could have seen what was happening and heard. And now we have sort of cleared things up. So let's quickly pick up back. Jay, so you were telling us about how you stepped on the scene 2000 as a shot putter. So many people don't know that Jason Daz was a shot putter. You started throwing in 2000, right?
It started running in 2000.
By virtue of Maurice Smith, and that's Maurice Smith, the decathlete that represented Jamaica, also from Calabar.
Definitely from Calabar. Good friend and the person who encouraged me. So the story with me and Maurice, it has always been a special one because he is the one who guided me on the journey till I became the Dad's Morgan known to the world. His guidance was the one who said, look, man, you have something special because only training 3 months before champs and win a bronze medal, that was something special because you used to have people that been training from class two, first year, two, second, and I just came in class one, just throwing, practicing 3 months and win a medal. So that was a big thing until my final year, class one, last year one. That's where I win the shot put and the discus. So I was double gold medalist my final year at Calabar, and I went on. I received a full scholarship to a junior college in Arizona, Central Arizona College.
Yeah, one of and just to let the listeners know. So this tonight we're really gonna delve deep into the 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 experience of Jason, especially when it concerns him being a part of many a Jamaica World Championships team, specifically his campaign in Tokyo, in Osaka rather, Japan. So we're gonna go there, but we can't pass upon the opportunity to sort of get the foundation and to understand. But just to let listeners know, JC, you said about it started in 2000. So between 2000 and 2006, you'd have been a consistent feature at the Pan Am Games and the CAC Games for Jamaica. So that's where it really started, throwing both the discus and
And
the
shot put.
shot put. Just talk us through in summary about those years of finally coming to representing Calabar to now representing the country, albeit at the junior level. You were doing two events that at the time not many shows were there with you. You're virtually almost a man alone on the journey. Just talk us through that period of development and growth and transformation.
So the year started, as I say, on the international level. Even when I was in college in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, because I graduated, I went to a JUCO first when I leave Jamaica. And I was all American there in shot put and discus. And I transferred to a D1 school. I went to Louisiana Tech University. Even when I was at Louisiana Tech, I was still competing for Jamaica in the summer, going to NACAC and Pan Am. So I was still competing, but it wasn't on
the international level that I wanted to be. But I know once I graduate, then I could fully commit my time and my dedication to take it to the next level. Because when I used to compete, Jamaica national discus record was 62.01. So 62.01 meters. And at the time, the qualification was 62.50 to qualify for a World Champs and Olympic Games. I graduate in 2007, and even those years competing, went to the under 23 and the NACAC and the Panam and CAC games. I was the only discus thrower, I believe. Used to have one other guy that make one other team or two other team, was Iken Woolry. I can't remember at the time. But, you know, it came on the scene in 2007 when Dorian Scott started throwing the shot put for Jamaica. Now, when he started training for Jamaica, I was like, okay, I don't feel like I can handle both shot put and discus, because in 2007, I started coaching myself. I graduated from college and I coached myself all those years, competing at World Champs, the Diamond League, the Olympic Games, from all the way up until I retired in 2018, 2019, from 2007. So all of those times when I break the Jamaica national record 5 different times and was #1 in the world 4 different times, I was coaching myself. Me setting my own workout program. I was my own masseuse. I was my own PT therapy person. I was my own manager. So I was writing and emailing different meet directors across the world, getting into those track meets by myself.
Wow, wow, wow. What that's all, just you just the world probably just shocked now to hear that measure of what you undertook as an athlete. But let just quickly take us back to Louisiana State. You
Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech, yeah, correct. Yeah. What was the coaching setup there like? You said you graduated in 2007, and if my memory serves me right, one of the main reasons we have here tonight is talk about your trip to the first world championship was 2007, right?
2007 was my first world champ, because that summer leading into that world championship, I broke the Jamaica national record the first time. I moved the record from 62.01 to 62.99.
Exactly. I was gonna go there. So you're praying, but I was gonna ask. Coming out of Louisiana State, doing so well for them, Louisiana Tech for them, you went right into a sort of new territory when it concerns showing to get that Jamaica record first and to then make your way on the team. Now you would have separated yourself from college, or were you at the time still being supported by the college setup at Louisiana in any way, shape, or form?
My setup, I gotta thank Louisiana Tech, because I was still having a place to train, a place to lift, a place to work out. But the coach wasn't necessarily coaching me at the time, because he have his team that he has to coach and pay attention to. So what I start doing, I had a mentor. My mentor was, well, he still is, Gregory Horton, that used to run a 400 for Jamaica. So Gregory
Yeah.
Horton is my mentor, and he was the one that let me and helped me understand the dynamic of the transition of becoming a post collegiate athlete to become a professional, and the level and the step it take. So young athletes out there, I'm telling you, get you a positive role model, get you a positive mentor, someone who understand the sport, someone who understand your event, someone who have experience. Don't feel like you know it all, even if you achieve a little success, because you're trying to achieve a lot of success. And if someone already been there and walked that path and created a path, he can look back and say, look, let me help you on this part right here. Walk these steps, walk this way. Of course, you have to find your own path, but somebody can help guide you and give you a flashlight, so you can be able to have a big stadium light that can shine on a bigger path. So my thing was, 2007 broke the record, as I said, qualified for my first world championship in 2007, Osaka, and it was such a big deal for me because nobody else, and I was the only thrower on the team because I don't think Dorian was on that team as yet. I'm not sure. Dorian didn't make that team. I believe I was the only thrower at the time, I want to say. And I was the only thrower on the team, and it was just in a world of its own, meaning everybody else you see around you is a runner. I mean, everybody know who I am because I used to compete on the international level. I meet here and there, but I feel that embrace of I was creating something new and breaking down barriers that Jamaica's never seen before. Even English speaking, Spanish speaking Europeans, when I line up to compete against them, they're looking at Jamaica, you gonna go run? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna come to throw.
Yeah,
So that was something new for the world to see, having Jason Morgan Jamaica discussed by my name. So, that was a journey of something real special, and I went on to compete in a few more world championship. So even that 2008 Olympic Games, my distance from 2007 qualified me for Beijing. But I did not compete at Beijing because at the time, graduating from college, I was dealing with my paperwork, my residency at the time, so I can have both citizenship, so I can be able to travel freely. Because graduate from school, if you don't know the transition of graduating, you're gonna have to create a new status for yourself.
yeah,
So the status didn't clear in time for me to be at Beijing, but I did qualify to go to Beijing. And I was told, come back to Jamaica. Once you come to Jamaica, don't worry about the paperwork. You can be able to, compete for us and become the first Olympian. And I was like, you know what? I became the first world championship athlete. I'm going to trust the process. 2012, I am going to be at the next Olympics. So I trust that years, and I put in the work, and I know my work ethic. I used to have a prayer when I used to compete and say, God, just wake me up the next day and I'll do the rest.
yeah. But just
So
for clarity, Jason, just let the listeners know. And you said you did not make the 2008 Olympic teams. If you can, in as best as you can. I know you probably don't want to detail everything, but let us know because I remember vividly. I think if I'm remembering wrong, you did not show up for the trials that year. I did you show up for the trials that year?
no, mom, I never show up at the trials because at the time I was dealing with my paperwork at the time for my new status of becoming a resident at the time. So, but I did not want to risk coming home and, as Jamaican would I say, get stuck at Jamaica and can't come back because at the time, my one, I had a baby I have a baby at the time, a young son. So I was like, I can't leave my son. I have to be there for him, and I don't want to come back to Jamaica and then can't travel. And
You hear me? Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, man, we have you there. You can go in, man. So while Jason started, we just still want your feedback, viewers and listeners. You can type it in the chat. Any question you want us to ask Jason. I mean, the man is gonna talk tonight. He has been talking a lot
I'm
so far.
sorry.
And
Can you
really,
hear me?
yeah, man, we're hearing you. Yeah, man. So it's over to you again. You're talking about not
I don't know.
wanting to
Let me
risk leaving your child um to come back. So we're trying to sort out those issues tonight. We will have so much to learn because this is really a learning show tonight, Xavier. Um,
sorry about that.
yeah, man, so you can pick up back where you start. You were saying to us that you never wanted to risk leaving your son to
Yeah, I
come
never
to be
want to risk leaving my son, newborn at the time. So I said, you know what? the next Olympics I'll be ready and paperwork and everything gonna be ready for that. So, compete and at the time real life start hit because you're not in college anymore. So now I find me a job and I'm working full time and taking care of my family at the time. And I actually was working two jobs. So two jobs, trying to balance family, trying to coach yourself, it was hard. The support that the university used to give, it wasn't there anymore because I wasn't competing for the university anymore. So, certain access going to look a little bit different.
But what
So
what what was what was the local support like for you though? I mean, from man I was coaching himself, doctoring himself, literally being your own manager, being everything is like you're all in one. What was the local support? And I'm using this on the background that Jason, you were the first one that made it to the world championship team. And I know you'll share us a thing or two based on what you remember from that team. But tell us what was the local support like in those years?
there was little to no support. No support. I remember times I used to buy my ticket to go back to Jamaica to compete at the trials. And I wouldn't even get back my money. It would have to be months for me to get reimbursed. So I was struggling to buy a ticket to come home, take care of family, and even the local meets here in Louisiana, it was the only ones I could afford to drive to. So 5 hours, 6 hours away, working Monday through Friday. By Saturday morning, I'm getting up at 3, 4 o'clock trying to make a 5, 6 hour trip driving to go compete. So a lot of time over the years, I'm competing tired. And I
But
never really get the opportunity because even going to that first world championship in Osaka and being the only thrower there, I remember even an official told me that, Dads, what you do at world champs? Jamaica only have runners and jumpers. We don't believe in a throwers. A
wow.
J3A official say that to my face. And him tell me, said, this is a one-hit wonder. He said, this going to be it for you. Him say, you'll never have another throw come true to be a world champs or a Olympics. I say, yo, I'm going to Olympics. Same way I beat my chest, I'm say, I'm going to Olympics. And I live to see that same official shake my hand every year and tell me that because of me, he's starting to believe in me and throwers.
But interesting. Some Latoya is actually asking, so if it was when you had trials, don't the federation help you with ticket? You can answer the question.
There is times where I have to wait months to get back, like months after the games to get back my reimbursement.
Wow.
I'm saying not every year it's you get back your money immediately. Sometimes you may get it at the meet when you go to the championship or the games, but sometimes it have to come in the mail like 2, 3 months later after the championship.
In the mail. But
In the
Jason, big man thing though. You said something that really strike a nerve because many people don't understand what that could have done to you when you said that one of the officials said to you that this is just a one in
one
opportunity.
hit wonder, this is a running country. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
How did that change your mindset, or did it change it at all? Did it shake it? How did it change your trajectory of things afterwards? Just hearing that very utterance.
At the time, I'm not gonna tell you that I was discouraged. I got discouraged later on the day. But when he said that, I was immediately fueled to do something that another Jamaican thrower has never done. I wanted to become the first. I wanted to become the first medalist on a global stage as a senior. I wanted to become the first Olympian. I didn't even care about a medal from that moment. I just wanted to make sure I make every team as a senior athlete. That what he said, me never care about a medal. Me just want to make sure say every world champs I'm there. Every Olympics I'm there. being on the circuit, I'm there, and I live to do that.
And I think if you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you only missed probably one World Championships since you made your debut in
Yes,
2007. You were at
yes.
Daegu and you went back in Beijing in 2015. And you
And
also
I
made
went, yes.
the
And
2012.
2013, I actually made 2013 team
Yes,
because
yes.
I was one of the best thrower. I was like top two, top three best thrower in the world distance that year. But I was transitioning again to become a citizen, to have dual citizenship at the time. So that process, that status happened to me again where it didn't complete at the time in time.
So
So
you
I
were
had
not at
to
the,
sit
you
out
were not
that
at the
world
trials.
championship here in Moscow in 2013. But I did make the team and send in, documents and everything that this is what I'm waiting on. But my travel documents didn't come back in time.
So but Jason, to be honest, some people that say, boy, for the amount of time that you got slighted, because I remember a lot of people were saying that Jason only compete in Florida or at the time was in Louisiana area, and they make the meat, them cook the meat for you so you can show the marker, and then you come back here and people don't understand behind the scene all the different dimensions and the dynamics of what was happening. But you were able to overlook the pushbacks, the slighting, people not understanding, and the association not even coming for to defend that Jason
Explain,
Morgan.
to explain what it
Yeah.
was.
Oh. Tell us how you find the strength to recover and to move on mentally. To say, all right,
If you look at all my distance that thrown, my records, my distance is not thrown at the same place. If you go look at all the distance in Louisiana, there is a meet that keep you have over 20, maybe 20, 30 different colleges that keep a track meet every single weekend. If that be the case and I'm going to one meet, wouldn't I have certain distance thrown every single year? Why is it only, I mean, it makes no sense to me because it's not at the same place if you look at the location of where I throw my PR them. Look at where
yeah,
I throw my world leading throw. Look at where I throw my 66, my 67, the 68. I go as far as the Mississippi, which I have to drive 3-4 hours to get there. You know, in Louisiana, I have to drive from where I live to one location. I can drive for 5 hours and be in a totally different place, but in the same state.
yeah. Wow. Oh. So
I
tell
can
us something.
drive 4 hours from where I live and be at a different location in the same state at a different school. So what I used to do at the universities, there used to be an open unattached section for professional athletes. So I would find those meets and travel to those meets and pay my entry fee. You know how many times I drive 5-6 hours and go to track meet and I ended up fouling all my throws and have to drive back 5-6 hours feeling some type of way because I just waste a whole day, gas money, hotel money, and nothing come from that meet.
Interesting just to hear that alone, because people don't understand that, they think that because we are so used to the local parlance where you go to a meet in Kingston and one in St. Catherine, and you just show up and you just do, they don't understand even at that time the amount of sacrifice. And you said it earlier that there was not much forthcoming from the local at the time because you were really a man treading alone all
It wasn't me
by
alone. You
yourself.
know how many times I've write the J3. And don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna tell you that I've never ever get support or um a financial assistance. I'm not saying that. It wasn't consistent and it wasn't enough to sustain a professional. And I'm not telling Jamaica to sponsor me. There is times where I'm like, okay, I need to go to this meet, but I can't fly. I can't afford to fly to that meet, pay for hotel, pay for entry fees. So, all right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this money and I'm going to drive 5, 6 hours and go to this meet. That's here. That's how that used to work for me every year. And every mark, every distance that I throw is a USA track and field sanctioned official meet from the USA track and field and IAAF. So everything has been certified. Official coach, official circle, officials.
So that is something the listeners can know, and those who were critical of those things, that those things were approved. But Jason, tell me something, because I know for the most, and I've been following your progress, and I know for the most part, you can correct me, of your career, you were somebody that had to be balancing family life, working, training yourself, showing up for me. Were you ever sponsored? I'm not remembering at the moment. Were you ever sponsored? And if not, how much of a struggle it was to strike the balance with both, because people don't really understand the magnitude of that.
All right. Almost every other year, I say I was going to quit. But I always have somebody that said that you cannot quit. And that somebody used to be a friend of mine, somebody that I coach, or another athlete. The name in 2014 when I win my Commonwealth medal, the 2.5 weeks before I come home for trials, I get a text that said that you ready for trials? And I was like, no, I'm not going to compete at trials this year. But quit. And this is what I would tell the athlete. And the athlete was like, why? You've been throwing well. You're going to these meets and you're doing good. And I was like, you know what? This is it for me. I can't compete no more. And the person and said, tell me what's going on. And I said, look, I can't afford my ticket to come home. I can't afford to buy my plane ticket because from Louisiana is about $1,000 to pay for a ticket to come to Jamaica.
Wow. Wow. And a lot of people would not even be aware of that. Jason. There's something I know a lot of people wouldn't remember you for. And I mean, we're gonna go down that road. I think we lost him there for a moment.
I think he went out for a little bit. Let me see. Oh, he's
Okay.
back now.
So he's back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Look at technical difficulty. I
yeah,
keep
man. No,
on getting calls. I keep on getting calls and interrupting.
we understand, but we still appreciate
That
that you're here.
I hope it's somebody hearing you. But let's quickly jump back into gear.
What's the last thing I said? Because I know I kind of went on for a minute. What's the last thing you hear?
You gave us the cost for travel from Louisiana. It's $1,000 to get to the trial.
To get to the trials. And 2014, as I said, I wasn't going to compete anymore. But the athlete said, look, I'm going to pay for your ticket to come home.
Wow.
And I'm not going to call her name because she's so humble and she's a great athlete, but she about to retire soon.
Wow. Say no more. But
Well,
Jason, there's something that everybody probably who came into this thing of hearing at least being an advocate. We remember Jason for one particular interview where you would have been brought to tears just trying to express to us, the wider stakeholders, some of the things that really, if the simple things were done for you, are just somebody give you, a half outstretch hand, not even a full stretch, half outstretch hand, things could have been better. But then it became almost, you got a big backlash by a lot of people to say, this man coming now to make a case where there was no case. Just I know I don't want to bring you back into those moments, but
That's all right. I'm feeling good.
what did that do for you? What did that do for you, knowing that you knew your truth and you were just trying to help people understand without bringing down a country? What did that do for you? And now you're looking back, would you say you regret it, or what? How impactful you thought that moment was?
I don't regret that moment. That was 2015 when I come on TV and ball and the emotions was flowing and going. 2015, I was the number one thrower in the world. I threw a 68-19. 1 month before that, I tore my own shoulder. I did my own rehab. I spend money and I buy different equipments to help speed up the process.
And just to let the listeners know that 68-19 is actually your personal best.
Is my personal best. That
So
was the national record at the time. That was the fifth time. That
Yep.
was the fifth time where I broke the Jamaica record.
Yep. So you were in good form
I
consistently.
was in good form. Good. I was competing. The lowest I threw that year was probably about 65 meters.
Yeah.
At every meet that I compete at.
And you said that.
So I got hurt. That was my last meet where I threw at 68-19. I was coming off recovery from an injury. And that year, I went to compete on the circuit, the Diamond League. So I ended up hurting my back at one of the meets. I slipped and fell in London and hurt my back. Because it was pouring down rain. Everybody know about London weather. You never know what you're going to get. Rain, sun, sleet, cold, whatever it is. You never know.
We saw it at the Diamond League the other day.
Right. So I compete and I slip, hurt my back. So I said to the judge, okay then, all I'm needing, when I go back to America, I can do some rehab and do some work and chiropractor. Just send me a certain amount of money where I can take care of things and I can win y'all a medal, because I was competing well and doing really good that year. I never got the help. I was supposed to be in Beijing for about 3 weeks for the camp and everything. And I say, okay, I'm going to leave my family. I'm going to leave my work. Please, just give me a certain amount of money where I can take care of my family and leave to take care of bills. Because at the end of the day, when you competing, the bills still have to be paid.
Yes.
And I was number one in the world at the time. That wasn't my first time being number one in the world. I was number one in the world at 2015. Went with my 68-19. And, I just don't compete and everything. And my back wasn't better. And I just don't compete at the time. And, getting the interview and asking about how I compete and what's going on and what we would want to see change athletes. And at the time, I became very emotional because the day before I compete, my boss reached out to me in a text message and the email and said they can't hold my job any longer.
I remember that clearly, vividly. I remember that.
And this was me in Beijing competing and representing Jamaica and being away. And I asked the J3 if a certain amount of money can help sustain things with the family and take care of things. So I'm like, okay, then I just lose my job. After I compete here, I'm going back to the same exact thing again over and over. I'm going back home to family and no job. So I have to go on job hunting. So I'm thinking like, why is this even worth it? Why am I putting all of this in for Jamaica and myself, of course, because nobody forced me to become a pioneer, to become an icon, to become Jamaica legend, Jamaica discus king who started. Nobody had that vision but me. So I know whatever I was going through, I had to endure it myself. So at the time, I became emotional because I'm thinking, okay, I got a text that say, okay, my bill due, I got to pay this bill. The reimbursement, the money that they give us, the stipend money that they give us probably was about $200-300 for the 2, 3, 4 weeks we in Beijing. That can't cover nothing. So I'm not being paid, but yet I'm going to represent my country proudly no matter what. Because I'm trying to set and leave a legacy. So I'm not even look on the negative or nothing. I just become emotional and I'm like, yo, what if I was getting 6 months of help? Just not for worry about working, not for worry about, pay this bill. This bill can take take care of itself. Like just 6 months of help. Imagine what I can do with that. Flying to certain meets, wake up, train, only go to training, don't have to work 2 jobs. What that would be like. So at the time doing the interview, I'm thinking all of that, and the tears start roll down my face, and I was like, yo, only if me can get certain help, when I have no clue what me can do.
Georgia. But Jason, you see, life is so funny because fast forward to 2024 into 2025, we heard the similar statements being uttered by the now generation. Only if we can get help because the bills have to pay.
The
You know, probably looking back, Jason, and hearing, and in your head, your own voice saying, the bills have to pay. I know it's hearing youngsters many years after you saying the same
same
thing.
thing. You
Oh,
know,
oh, oh.
after everything come out with the Turkey situation, I Safa reach out to me. I probably shouldn't call him name, but big up Safa. Safa will retire. We can talk whatever we are talking now. But Safa reach out to me and Safa said, Dad, just imagine if we had this opportunity years ago. I ain't gonna lie, I would have taken it. That's why I feel so good. When those young Jamaican athletes take the opportunity, yo, go to Turkey, go to wherever it is to take care of yourself for the future.
Yeah,
Well,
interesting.
well said. I really think fast forward hearing your story, and we have to hear the history to understand the present and prepare for the future. And a lot of us would have bashed these athletes going on to Turkey, but hearing what is the same exact sentiment, it coming like the Bible. You see the same verse in the Old Testament. When you go to the New Testament, at the same verse you see again. And has anything changed with J3 when it comes on to the field events? And in your opinion?
If anything change, I don't see anything change. What the J3 need to do also is give more support of the field events, meaning set up different, send certain athletes to certain meets. Like you pick a group of athletes and you say, okay then, top 3 in this athlete who don't have a sponsor but close to the standard, or who throwing a certain distance or jumping a certain distance. Let's pay for 2 or 3 meets out of the year and send them to these meets. Give that opportunity.
So my next question is, we only see coaches come together when they're championships, or teams pull together when they're championships. Are you saying that the J3 should implement a system where I call it a national coach? And you can put it into dimension because we have different events, and we could organize it as a field event, and you get a national panel of coaches that will help develop these athletes. Because as you said, all these throwers that leave high school, it's hard to get into a D1 school throwing right now. If you're not running, you're not getting there. You have to find a way how to get there. I have not seen a system in Jamaica that will develop throwers if they're not quote unquote superstar or coming from an elite high school. So
Absolutely. And what I want to say, and if y'all don't show anything that I have said on this platform for the past hour, please make this a clipping what I'm about to say to y'all right now. Please. I need the J3A to start doing workshop for throwers. I'm willing to come in and coach for a weekend and help coach and develop young athletes in high school for shot put, discus, and javelin. I am willing to come and do workshop, clinics, camps, and help develop young throwers and let them understand the technique, the dynamic, and what it takes to go to the next level of competing in college and competing on a professional level. When I was competing from the years of I leave Jamaica in 2003 to about 2008. The percentage go up by about 74% of Jamaican athletes as throwers getting scholarships to come to D1, D2, and JUCO in America. Not everybody can stay on the soil of Jamaica and develop into the great thrower. They need
Wow.
help, they need support, they need certain things to put in place, certain equipments, certain facility, certain meets on certain levels, so you can know what's out there in the world.
But Jason, boy, and I'm now gonna make that fly over anybody's head tonight because a lot, it's almost shocking to hear this because a lot of people say, then Jason, I've been undergone all of that. Why is it that you're so willing and ready to pour into the generation of the now? And a lot of people say then, but Jason, do you have the acumen? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the competence? Present the
I
case again.
definitely have it. I've
Present the
traveled the
case.
world. I have traveled the world. I traveled the state competing. In the past 6 to 7 years, I've coached over 80 athletes. Made it to gets Divisional One scholarships, that get JUCO scholarships, that went on to be state champions, that went on to do great things under my tutelage, under my coaching, under my guidance. So I've been coaching on all levels. I have an Olympic medalist that I coach. And a lot
Wow.
of people don't even know that in the shot put. I have countless D1 athletes that even coaching at the moment because of my guidance, my coaching. So I'm willing to pour into Jamaica young throwers. So anybody out there, whether you're JOA, J3A, the government, corporate, whosoever you are, I am willing to take time out from my job, miss a day or 2 day, come a weekend, and set up a workshop, a coaching clinic, a coaching camp. I am willing to do it. I'm easy to find on any platform. I just want to pour into young Jamaicans or young Caribbean athletes.
Jason, anybody call you at this time, you're ready to come and lend your support.
J-
Absolutely. I am ready.
There's a
Jason,
question here
As
from
I
long
would,
as,
Latoya.
long as them take care of certain accommodations, I'm good.
I'm,
You're
I'm,
good.
I'm, I'm surprised. I won't be surprised, as you said, Caribbean athletes. I won't be surprised if any other Caribbean country before Jamaica
Give you a
will reach
call
out to
first.
you. Will reach out to you. Believe
Well,
you me.
whosoever it is and whatever, I just want
To give back
Caribbean on a whole. So
and
whosoever
contribute.
you are, I am willing to pour into young throwers and give them knowledge. I keep my own camps, and I travel across America almost every other weekend, traveling to different states. The amount of kids that I have that win state, the amount of kids that I have that's number one in their state, the amount of kids that I coach that do junior Olympics, that's medalists, like it's countless.
Wow. Jason, I want to ask you this question. But before I go to my question, somebody said, do you think Jamaica have what it takes to develop chores? I think they're asking in terms of the resource or the answer. I think that's where they're taking it from, the resource and probably the know it all.
I don't think they have all the resource, but they have some that can throw us to a next level. We want to try to dominate, and it takes one person with one vision. I had that vision, and I'm here now pouring in and expressing a new vision of once you put a facility together. I believe GC Foster, whatever high school, whatever college, a UTech, a UE, wherever it is, I just need a circle, just invest, buy some discus shot, put javelin. Let's do more for throwers. Yeah, it's natural for somebody to just get up and run, and we see that and we develop that. What about that strong little girl? What about that strong little boy who look bigger than the rest? Who look stronger than the rest? Who people tease? Big boy, big girl. Let's use them and utilize them and use their strength. I remember when I was about 15 years old, when we get my first washing machine, me so excited when the truck man come and drop it on me gate. Me so excited at 15, we pick up the washing machine over my head and I run through the house with it.
Wow.
That's how I discovered my strength was something different.
Yeah.
So
So
start investing in those stronger young men, stronger young girls. And
And
it's not
use the strength.
everybody
Yeah.
gonna get up and run fast. Some of us just born with a certain strength, and let's put technique to implement to distance to opportunity.
so
Most
I'm willing to
definitely. I
coach
agree.
a Jamaica team.
Yeah. Eric. So you hear it there. So Jason is saying he's willing to step in. And it doesn't matter the level that you're called upon,
It
whether it's at
doesn't
the
matter the level that I'm called because I am ambassador for Jamaica. I want to represent in whatever capacity I can. I want to coach young athletes, whether it's on a junior level, whether it's on a senior level. I am available for it. Not just no disrespect to the man who go to every World Champs, every Olympics, every whatever it is. Yes, you're doing your thing, but there are also great coaches who was great athletes out there also. And to be boastful at this moment, I am one.
wow. This year's World Championship team, Jason, to Tokyo, will possess about 5 to 6 chores. Are we
I
looking
would
at
love
that
to be
coming?
a part of that because one person can manage and balance on the time and conflict. I've been to games and I've been to championship and I've been to different meets. That one coach can handle everybody across the board
Cause,
all the time
that's
because
what I was
certain
gonna ask
people.
you. I was gonna ask you when we look at track and field and we see the ratio that they use to say X amount at least X amount of coach track coach. But now we're seeing 6, 7 sometimes chores there, and you're seeing probably 2 chores coach. You're saying that we think we need to
Oh no, that's a
move.
no-no. I always say that from the jump. That's a no-no. That's a recipe not for success. You need, if you are having more than 5 throws, you need at least 2 throws there. So let me ask you this question. Whenever you have a relay team of six, 7 athletes, do you only always see one sprint coach or do you see
No,
multiple?
no, several coaches.
At least 3 or 4, right?
Yep.
So why is it we just send that one throws coach every single time? Let's add another one with experience.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic because I remember last year, Daniel Thomas dad. I mean, I just have to call her name. I remember she came forth and she almost had a replication of what you had in 2015 when she came to the fore and the entire world saw her laying it out before them, saying that only she had her coach. And
Absolutely.
now to hear you saying this because we're gonna have almost a similar team of the size that we had for last year's Olympic game going back to this year's World Championship game. And you're saying we cannot allow for that to happen again. We need more field coaches. That's what you're saying,
We
especially
need
chores
more.
coach.
We need more field coaches. That's a fact. If we're trying to do more and be dominant consistently, let's put people in place for that.
but Jason, what happened with the Turkey situation should have opened the eyes of the administration team to say that this is where we need to put our attention. We just lost our medal contender
Yeah.
in the both field events that
In both and listen, we never had nothing like that where top 2 throwers in different events at the same time.
time leaves.
Yo, if it was me and working in the J tree, I would have said, look, even if we can't give them what Turkey giving or other places, let's at least send them something consistently for the next year or 2 years as a contract. You know, just something to believe me. You don't even know what it's like for somebody to take care of your rent 3-4 months, and you don't have to worry about that part of your life.
Jason, I love business. I love the business side of track and field, and that's always my passion. And when I look at people saying where they should get it from, and I can put it out there, one of the suggestions is that we are branded by Puma, and it's a simple conversation to say these athletes might not get a full sponsorship based on you signing an agreement with them, but if you're going to brand my entire team, why don't you allow part of that agreement to take care of my, not wouldn't say below par, but on the verge of getting their professional sponsorship? Because far too many times we have athletes that don't break into getting professional sponsorship, but they are so good.
I never received a monetary sponsorship from until 2015. And that came from Puma. I was the first thrower in 30 years that Puma had as a thrower. I'm the one who designed the throwing shoes. I'm the first discus thrower, shot putter, whatever thrower across the board was the first thrower in history that was sponsored by Puma. Did you all know that?
No, sir, that's news to me. That's some news there to me.
The first thrower in history from
Wow.
Puma that get a throwing shoes, everything, it was because of me. Let a throwing shoes
And
was
your
established.
input
Yes.
was crucial in that.
Yes. And
Wow.
over the years, I've thrown number one distance over the years and competed at continental and different games and was number one thrown distance. But I never received. Let me tell you something. A thrower can be top 5, top 10 in the world and do not get a sponsorship. And a runner can be top 30 and get a sponsorship.
Yeah, that is something I learned later in track and field, because I usually find it so hard to believe that what you'd call the tier 2 and tier 3 track athletes get big scholarships and big and then the best of your field eventers struggle to get
Struggle.
scholarship. And I'm like, is it that the value that is placed on winning a field event medal is not the same value? Because check it, this when I see some field event athletes talk about Mando, every meet now you're probably going to watch Amanda. To me, Mando carries a
Right
certain
now,
kind
he's
of
center stage. He's the Usain Bolt because they make sure his event is prime time.
exactly, and it carries a certain kind of excitement, and it grabs a certain attention. So I'm saying only if they would invest in other shows, jumpers, that can carry certain um put on a certain kind of a show. It builds the brand for track and field, because it's like a seesaw. Track and field is up and the field part kind of tilts down. So really and truly we are really lagging behind when it comes on to the field aspect of the whole
So,
track and field thing.
I have suggestion, Jason, and tell me if I'm wrong. The timing of events at championships, like our national championship, the timing of the long jump, triple jump, the throws, you realize that the circle is all the way across from where the premium people that pay for money. And I look at it, been to the stadium the other day, watch, I think it wasn't a Grand Slam, I think it was racers. And I said, if you change little things, if you can sell seats on the other side of the racing track for people that are interested in shows, to see the circle up close, to see those athletes. Because you only, if I'm over the KC side, I'm used to go KC, I'm over the KC side, I can't see the shows none at all.
Right.
So if you sell seats on the racing track for persons who are interested in field events on that side, to just bring light to it. A Friday night, you put your 100 meter, put your throws in between the 100 meter. People are in the stadium.
Yes.
You have to come up with creative ideas to get people to be interested. You have, back in the days when in a politics season, them married the product. You have to buy rice, forget mackerel, or buy mackerel, forget rice, and you can't get no salt if you don't buy something. So you need to start marry the product so people can love it.
You
So,
know what? That's interesting you say that. And I realized that from a young age, competing, that once I'm deciding to break down barriers, I got to create a brand for myself. When I just became a professional in 2007 and I compete at different track meets, I wasn't on the circuit or anything. I used to travel across America driving and flying when I can and if I can afford it. But what I noticed, everybody that I was competing against, they had hair and a clean shave. So you know what I did? I want to stand out. I bald my head and grew my beard. So you can't miss me. And right now, for the past 15 years, I have seen it where people bald their head and have a beard as a throw.
You created a blueprint.
Of course, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
And you know who telling me about that branding myself? My friend Vibes Cartel.
And I know on past interviews you'll talk deeply about the relationship and the conversations that you have with Vibes Cartel, and a lot of people don't know that part of the story. But as you said, you have to brand yourself, but
Yes.
you can't brand yourself without help of the organization,
Absolutely.
the administrator, and they have to buy into the product.
So-
I don't think the administration buy into field event as yet, and
Not
the
yet.
only reason why you saw so much traction is because another country just took
Absolutely.
our prime athletes.
You
Man,
know what? Sorry to cut you off, but I gotta say this. I gotta go in about 12 more minutes.
No problem.
But let me give this credit where it's due while it's fresh on my mind. Miss Babsy Grange, I have to give her credit. She's trying and she's creating new things. She's developing new avenues and new areas for sports. And I think she's doing a lot right now to change that dynamic about not just track and field, but throwers, jumpers. She's doing a lot. She's trying a lot, and I've seen it. So I have to give her credit. So I believe J3A need to collaborate and collaborate also with the JOA to do more and set a plan. Hey, call me in the meeting. I have some great ideas that I can pitch to. One of my dreams is to go back to Jamaica and see hundreds of kids at different areas throwing, and I'm walking to different shot put. I'm helping with the shot. I'm helping with discus. I'm helping with javelin. I'm helping the technique. Raise his arm up. Plant that left foot. I would love to do something like that.
You know, I was gonna ask you just that, like you're reading my mind, Jason. I was gonna say to you, the idea and the sound of a Choas carnival, what we call a Choas carnival, where a national Choas carnival where it's exclusively Choas of all the different javelin, hammer, shot, discus, just becoming a part of the national calendar where all Choas from the high school level to the professional level coming together. How does that sound to you?
That sounds good. Bringing people like me to come help officiate. Bringing people like me to help pour into knowledge. Let me tell them about stories. Let me give them ideas what they can do. I'm talking about me on Christmas Day. Go over Waterford Primary and practicing before I go eat my Christmas dinner. Me coming home from Calabar from practice on my rooftop, practicing.
Wow.
Hours, just practice, just doing drills. Me going over Cayman's truck or run an extra lap to be in shape. Me finding some blocks and I push over me. I want to share those stories.
With the generation.
Oshay, you went 2 steps ahead. I'm looking in the States when it comes summertime, people go to trials to play football. Right? Yeah. And you got trials. Like everybody in the same community dads would go and they try out for the team and see where they fit. I want to see a tryout for throwers. I remember when James Beckford win the silver medal in the long jump. You know what me going to my backyard go do? draw the line and start practice to jump because you say if him can do it, let me see if me can jump. The responsibility for the organizer, the administrator is pretty simple. They might say it costs money, but if you put on an event, you just need to market it, put it out there and say, we're inviting anybody that feel like they can throw. Come and let me see your raw talent across the island. Because the high schools don't have the facilities if you are not in the Calabar or the JC or the KC or the traditional ones that do it. And you realize these schools will go into the primary schools and move these athletes from different parts of the island. But there are so many that are left behind
Yeah,
because
man. The talent pool is
the
wide.
talent pool is still there, but
Yeah.
these athletes are not able to showcase the raw talent that they have. A lot,
I agree. I agree. And I have helped many high school athletes from where I live in America and do video coaching with many high school athletes in Jamaica. People don't even know that. It's only the athletes know that. And only the
Yeah.
coaches know that. So
Interesting.
I connect with athletes and I help athletes. I give back shoes, I give back knowledge, I give back a whole lot. And a lot of people don't know that I do that on certain level. Because I don't have to come and broadcast it. But I want to pour into Jamaica more. Set up something where you can bring home a Jason Dad's Mug and every 3 months, every 6 months, and let's do a throwing camp, a throwing clinic, and have my availability for the entire weekend. I will do like say 4 or 5 hours out the day. We're gonna focus on shot. 4 or 5 hours out, and we have kids that come in from different places, different parishes. Let's do that to develop the country in
Well,
trust.
boy, Jason, it's no light and it's no doubt. It sounds like you're a man with a plan and a real um good blueprint that needs to be adopted. And I think the salient point from this interview tonight is to let the world know that Jason has gotten to the place where he's ready to give back. But as you said, as you said, we're gonna wrap shortly. And again, I mean, we wish you could talk all day because this is just mind-boggling, eye-opening to hear some of the ideas and the ideology of what you have as a man that has been through the rough and now coming back to still help others. But quickly, I mean, we just want to end on the lighter side. And I mean, I have 3 questions for you quickly.
Okay.
Just to quickly remind us or rewind to your Japan experience, because we have at least jetting off to Japan a few days. What was Japan like for you in summary? How would you describe Japan in 2 sentences?
A great experience and memorable. And I say those words because when you make a team, whether you're a veteran or you're a rookie, I would encourage you to network and connect with your teammates. Don't standoffish. And the veterans, them, take those youngsters under your wings. Don't be too hype or think you all of that. Trust me, it goes a long way for that rookie see their superstar where them used to sit on TV, come over and talk to them. Go eat lunch or breakfast with them and talk with them, encourage them because they are going to take the next step. The
Yeah. Oh,
rookies don't feel intimidated by that person you sit on your TV and see all over you make your first big team. Go talk to them. Sometimes they want to talk to you too.
wow. So now the next question is, I don't know if you hear this name been branded about Ralford Mullings. He is on the cups of doing something special. What do
Absolutely.
you think of this young man?
I think great things of him. I actually have a few conversation with him through Instagram. Very humble. I actually met him when he was going to KC, I believe, some years ago. Cause me and his coach at KC at the time was good friend. Reina Kanija, Reina. And I met Mullins then, and I believe he's a special talent. And I said it to him when he was in high school that great things is on the way for you. So I'm cheering for him. I believe he's going to be the one to beat coming this, world champs.
Yeah. All right. So the final question for me, and then I can throw it over to Xavier, and if he has a final one. I know you're probably not like myself, not into calling medals, but what do you make of the field team? And I'm gonna be very biased to say the field team going to Tokyo. What are we saw it last year? They saved us in at the Olympic Games. Hands
Yes.
down, they saved Jamaica and allowed us to the only gold medal at the World Champ at the Olympics. Let's anybody forget was in a discus your event. So it's almost pride of place to say to you tonight. Tell us what you think are our realistic chances of earning medals, not only in the throws, but you can start there, but also in the jumps at this year's World Championship.
Overall field events, I believe we're going to get 5 medals.
Wow. Yeah,
All right.
and not many people can disagree with you. So I won't even question that. Not many people can disagree with you in that prediction.
Okay.
I only have one question, and it's just pretty much I will ask that what advice would you will have for young throwers, young aspiring throwers? And I had a conversation with a young lady a couple months ago, and it was a similar story behind yours when you spoke about documentation, not able to get the documentation, throwing good, can't make the team because you have to just know what you want and set your stage. And it seemed like she walking in the same footstep. And if she do listening tonight, she can say, you know what, somebody had tried the trad. I can follow the blueprint and it will work out. What advice you would have for young athletes finding themselves in situation that you have found yourself in, and any
Just before you
advice?
answer the question, I think that's Cedric, all right, Xavier?
Yeah,
I'm thinking of ensuring that she connects with you, Jason,
connect with
because
Jason.
you are, I think, the right person as a motivational speaker. That ability has for Cedrica to really hear your journey because she is following your blueprint. So
It's a similar story. Don't have to
we're
tell
gonna
her
make the
part
link.
of the story,
We're
but
gonna make the link. It's somebody I know, so you can answer the question now.
Um, First thing I'm going to say is I'm open for she to reach out to me. I can encourage her. I can link with her. I can give her some advice. I know who she is. I never met her, but I've seen the name and I've seen her compete. Now, the advice I would have for young Troy is go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
Yeah,
Meaning, don't only do what your coach tell you to do. Find time and go do the extra.
yeah.
Ask for a shot put, a old shot put or old discuss that you can go through on your own. Don't only throw at the high school. Go through in your backyard. Find a school close to your area. Don't only throw when the team is practicing. Go do extra work on your.
Extra.
yeah, it's going in and out. Yeah, we understand.
But Jason, this is the way we probably can end it tonight.
Yeah, yeah, because we are there.
It's moving in and out.
Yeah,
And we've been on for some time. Thankful
I
for
think
the
he's
listeners who
I think he's back
stayed
in.
around.
But yeah, O'Shea, it was a good conversation.
Yeah,
Jason
really.
will always talk of the story, and it's a good story to hear. Not bashing anybody, and I would love people to understand and pay close attention to the words he said. He didn't
Yeah,
say J3 did not. He
yeah,
said consistently didn't.
yeah.
So we have to make sure we pay close attention to certain stuff that he mentioned. Um, it's a blueprint. I call it the throwing blueprint, the Jamaican throwing blueprint. Jason is actually that person that self self trained,
Boy,
self
self everything.
motivated,
It's literally self
himself
everything,
everything.
if you ask me, because not only can you train yourself, Xavier, and that's one thing, but it's to pick yourself up every time
To
you're
do
knocked
it.
down. I mean, I know you'd have had others in his corner, but to just pick yourself up every time and to keep on that path of greatness and knowing that the sky was not the limit for him in terms of where he was going. and to see that it manifested itself and it actually happened. And that's one of the beauty of the stories, you know.
Yeah.
It's not only the tough road that he had to travel, but to know that he eventually got to a place where he can look back and say,
The
boy,
milk and honey was a nice story.
yeah, I made it to the highest level.
Yeah.
Because comes what may, not many will ever make it to the Olympics, and he made it there. Not many makes it to the World Championship, and he made it there. And the other thing that still sticks out in my head is to know that he's committed
To
to
still
help with
give
the
back.
development, and
Still willing to
no,
give
and
back.
it costs to the organization or the administration here. All he's asking for is to make room, make the opportunity available, and he's ready at any time. That is the measure of a man who has not looked back with regrets, but has looked forward, not wanting to be a part of the problem, but to
But
be a part of the solution. I really rate him, and I can tell him, hands down, he's one of the greatest athletes we have ever had, because he has a story that many will learn, many will believe, and many will enjoy going forward.
So, well, I'm on host duty tonight.
Yeah.
They leave us to
I
have the
wanted I
conversation.
wanted to give him Latoya's favorite thing is Rushmore, the Choas Rushmore of Jamaica, just
At
before he gets.
Jamaica, but he disappeared. But I know he always willing to come back
He's
and
gonna post it in the, he's gonna post it in the YouTube link. I'm sure
yeah.
when he sees it on face, he's gonna post. So Jason, if you're listening, Latoya likes to know the Rushmore of anything. So you can give us your 4 best Jamaican chores from any event, all time,
All
and yourself
time.
can be included. Yeah, that's your homework there. But
All
thanks
right.
again. It was a pleasure,
So
absolutely, Xavier.
guys, remember to what's this tagline? Remember to subscribe to our YouTube page and
Like and
like and
share.
share.
Yeah.
And Monday, what we call it, 1st of September, we're rounding up the championship.
Boy, them say
So
free paper bun, but
free
boy,
paper bun.
it gets excited come
And
Monday.
then we have to congratulate our Choa. What's his name today? Came third in the Diamond League. Rajinja actually
yeah.
came third in the Diamond League. So congrats to Rajinja. Tomorrow should be exciting
part.
day. The other
Yeah.
part of it. So
Yeah.
come Monday we start our final descend.
We can start talk about the team, and
Yeah.
because now the qualification window's closed
Yeah,
officially,
so
and then the last chance
it's
well, the
tomorrow.
last chance to well, it does not close. Forgive me. About tomorrow is the last event that gives you a chance to get into the qualification.
The
So
qualification.
on Monday we will have 1,000,001 things to talk about. It's miss. Where do we go from here? What do we have to look forward to? I know Lataya is coming with a bang. So
Yeah.
you just have to show up.
Final descent into Tokyo. Plane take off. People ticket book. Tomorrow we have a few persons where they're on the standby list. See if them number will call and get them and see it. All the best to the athletes. Looking forward to see great things. Thanks again to Dads Morgan. It was always a pleasure talking to Jason. Always have a story, and I tell you, he will talk for hours because every year is a different challenge. He didn't tell you how far he drove to throw and missed out, and all of the struggles, and within the struggles there are always the silver lining, and it came out always a silver lining. And I can firmly say, for somebody to wanting to give back, for somebody to have evolved after all of that and still be current and still helping, it's really a great measure of a man. And I can say it's one of our legend, and I want him to be given his flowers while he's still here. Far too many times we have not given our athletes their flowers. And I would love to take the opportunity to say, Jason, you are a legend of your own within that event. And thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you had to run. Thank you for the viewers. Thanks to everybody that have chimed in. Watch, enjoy the conversation. Thanks, Oshay. And we know, see you Monday with back the beautiful smile of Latoya. Technical difficulties in and out, but we'll learn it. So thank you so much for being patient with us. See you all. Take care. Subscribe to the page. See you Monday.